Welcome, prenatal people. We're going to do a full body workout today. You're going to follow along with me. I'm going to take you through a warm-up, an entire workout, and a stretch at the end. Okay, first things first, we're going to get on the floor and we're just going to do some diaphragmatic breathing. So this is super important during pregnancy and postpartum. You want to make sure that you're breathing properly. And the reason for doing breathing before you begin your workout is kind of to build that muscle memory of how to breathe properly so that when you go into your workout, you don't necessarily have to think about it too much, but rather you can kind of be on autopilot. So it doesn't happen right away, but the more you do this, the more second nature it will become. You want to think about breathing 360. So if you place one hand on your ribs and one hand on your belly, you're going to breathe in your nose, expand your ribs and expand your belly. Exhale through the mouth and let everything deflate. So this style of breathing really gets our whole core working and functioning as one cohesive unit. And it's important during exercise that you're just continuously breathing. So you never want to be holding your breath while you're doing exercises, especially if you're going to be using weights. Let's do one more breath like that. Inhale, expand. Exhale, deflate. So now we're going to do a connection breath. So it's a little bit more active than what we just did, but the principles are the same. So we're going to inhale 360. And then on the exhale, I want you to imagine lifting your pelvic floor and tightening your abdomen. So kind of like you were doing a Kegel, lifting the pelvic floor and then bringing the two sides of the abdomen together. So let's do a few breaths like that. Inhale, exhale through the mouth, lift the pelvic floor, tighten the abdomen. Inhale, relax everything. And tighten. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And one more breath. That was awesome. Okay, let's begin our warm-up. So let's get started on our warm-up. You're going to want to lay down on the floor. Now, depending on what trimester you're in, this will either be a little easier or a little more challenging for you. So if you're about midway through your second trimester or in your third trimester, you're going to want to kind of roll onto your back. So you're going to come down first on your side and then roll onto your back. Now, it's perfectly safe to lay on the floor during pregnancy as long as you're not having any negative symptoms. So if you feel any dizziness, nausea, lightheadedness, shortness of breath, you won't want to be laying on the floor. Round 2 of this warm-up, I'm going to show you how you can modify this movement. So for now, if you're comfortable, we're going to do 10 hip bridges together, pressing your heels into the floor, squeezing your shoulder blades underneath you. We're going to inhale and then exhale to lift and then lower. So always inhale down, exhale up. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to roll again. You want to roll up onto hands and knees. We're going to do bird dog. So make sure that your spine is neutral, so no sagging in the middle like this. I'm going to tuck the hips under, and we're going to extend opposite arm and leg, maintaining stability. Maintain neutral hips and shoulders. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. From here, we're going to do bear to tabletop. So this is our tabletop position that we're in right now. So you're gonna tuck your toes under, press your hips back, press your chest back towards your thighs, and then you're lowering back down to tabletop. That's 1, 2, 3. So you're gonna inhale, exhale, push back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one right here, and 10. Go ahead and step forward. We're gonna stand up and go right into some reverse lunges. So you're gonna step back, dropping your back knee down, keeping your shoulders right over top of your hips. That's 2, 3, you're gonna inhale down, exhale up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're gonna go through that warm up 2 more times. So if you were uncomfortable on the floor, let me show you how you can modify that. If you were perfectly comfortable, go ahead and lay back down. If not, you're going to go up to a chair or couch or a bench, whatever you have, and you're gonna do your hip bridges with your back elevated. 2, 3, inhale down, exhale up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Going into our bird dog, just like last time. So opposite arm and leg extend for 1, 2, back is neutral, find balance. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Moving from tabletop to bear. Inhale, exhale, push back for 1, 2, 3. If you need to take these slower than I am, that's perfectly fine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10 right here, and step forward. Stand up, we're going into our reverse lunges. For 10, 9, 8, shoulders over hips. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go back through that whole thing one last time, and then we're ready for our workout. So I'm gonna again show on the floor, but if you need to, elevate your back. Make sure you're rolling down to the floor. Here we go. 10, 9, exhale up. 8, 7, 6, squeeze your glutes. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolling over rather than sitting up. Going into bird dog. 1, 2, 3, neutral spine. 4, don't worry about how high you're lifting. Focus more on maintaining stability. 7, 8, 9, 10. Pressing back to bear for 1, 2, so the knees are staying bent. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead and bring your feet forward. Stand up for our reverse lunges. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, whew. Feeling warm, ready to work out. Let's do it. The workout that we're gonna do today is an interval timed workout. So we're gonna work for 40 seconds and rest for 20 seconds. And the reason that I love interval timed workouts during pregnancy is that it kind of sort of mimics contractions. So you're working for a certain amount of time and then getting to practice resting and recovering for a certain amount of time before the next work interval starts again. So in addition to that, it's a nice way to work out during pregnancy because it really allows you the opportunity to listen to your body. You're just working for 40 seconds, so there's no certain amount of reps that you need to get. You don't have to work at a certain pace. You just work for 40 seconds in a way that feels really good to you and your body. So if at any point you need to slow down, that's fine, you can slow it down, or if you need to speed it up, go ahead and speed it up. I'm going to show you as we go because we're going to do 3 rounds of this workout. Different ways to modify based on which trimester you're in. So I'm going to try to show you those as we go, and you'll just pick the one that feels right to you. Regardless, even if I'm showing you a 3rd trimester modification and you're in your 1st or 2nd, but that feels right to you, of course, go ahead and do that. All right, so I have my timer here. I have an interval timer app on my phone. There are apps for free in the App Store, so you can go ahead and grab one. I set it for 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. I have just a quick 5-second get ready timer set. So I'm gonna set that and we're gonna start with squats. So in 5 seconds, we're gonna do some squats. I'm gonna put this where I can see it. Here we go, so feet under shoulders. We're dropping hips down, ideally below the top of the knee, but if that's not comfortable for you, that's perfectly fine. So from the side, keep going with this. You're keeping your shoulders over your hips, staying nice and upright, making sure heels are on the floor, knees are apart. If this is uncomfortable for you, if you're further along in your pregnancy and squats no longer feel good to you, you can always squat to a stool, a chair, or a bench. We have 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Rest for 20 seconds. So we're gonna move on to push-ups, and I'm gonna show you how you can modify those push-ups based on where you're at. So if you're in your 1st trimester, you don't have to start yet, you could maybe just do standard conventional push-ups with your knees up or down. And as we go, I'm gonna show you how you can use this bench or stool. Here we go. So you can do regular push-ups. So keeping your elbows tracking in towards your t-shirt, keeping your core stable. You can also drop your knees down if you need to. That's perfectly fine. So you want to keep hips tucked underneath. Now I'm in my 3rd trimester. So I'm going to be modifying. Here are some ways. You can either just elevate your hands, or you can elevate your knees and your hands. So both of those are great options. 1 more rep here and rest for 20 seconds. Okay, we're gonna go into back elevated alternating hip bridges. So now if you just have your couch, you can of course use that. I'm just gonna use this so it's easier for you to see me. Elevate your back and then alternating one leg up, lift and lower. So you're gonna exhale up. With almost all of these moves, you're exhaling up and inhaling down. So go ahead and press into your heels. Squeeze your glutes and hamstrings. You only want to lift as high as you can maintain neutral spine. So trying not to overarch your back too much. We got 8 seconds here. Press in, squeeze those hamstrings. Woo. If you're pregnant, you know you get out of breath very easily. And go ahead and rest. Oh my goodness, even if you're in 1st trimester, your lungs have to take in so much more oxygen, so likely you're already feeling the effects. We're gonna go into a bent over Y, T, and L. So follow along with me. Here we go, 40 seconds. Push your hips back, neutral spine, slight bend in the knee, Y, T, elbows up, rotate, that's the L. From the front, it looks like this, Y, T, L. Once we go back through these moves in round 2, we'll all know them, so we'll be able to pick up the pace a little bit, and you'll have a better idea of what modification that you want to be using. From the side again, see how my back and chest are really tall. This one is great if you sit at a desk, if you feel, oops, T, sorry, and L right here. Good, rest. So if you feel like you get tight in your back a lot, that's a great one to do periodically throughout the day. So again, with your stool or chair, or a step in your house, we're gonna do alternating step-ups. Here we go. So one foot comes up, you're gonna press into that foot to step, and then I think it's best to switch at the bottom because I think you can get a little bit better of a rhythm that way. But you do wanna focus on the top leg doing the work rather than like a big kick off the bottom. Try to keep that leg pretty straight, and that way you're really isolating that top leg. So again, none of this is about speed. It's really about focusing on strengthening, muscle control, balance, stability, and just really staying active. Last rep right here. Good. Rest for 20 seconds. So our last move, we're gonna do, I have to remind myself, we're gonna do a plank pull through. So if you have a dumbbell or a water bottle here, you can grab that. So if you have your dumbbell or water bottle, you're gonna get into a plank. Wide feet, you're gonna pull through. So notice that I'm not letting my hips shift side to side. I'm not rotating as I pull. I'm just inhaling, exhaling, pulling. So if you're in first trimester, you might be able to be in a full plank. If you're further in your second trimester, you may just drop the knees down. Or if you're in your third trimester, you may be in tabletop position, pulling through. So there's lots of options here. Maybe you need to do an in-between and you hover the knees. Good, last rep, and rest. Okay, we're gonna go back through that whole workout 2 more times all together. Now that you have an idea of the moves, the modifications, choose the one that feels right to you. Don't feel attached to it. You can always switch at any time. Get ready for squats. Here we go. Squats for 40 seconds. Remember, you can always use your bench or stool or chair, whatever you have with you. So good. Exhale up. Inhale on the way down. Now that's usually the recommendation that I give, because remember, as you're exhaling, you're tightening the pelvic floor and the abdomen. But if that feels really uncomfortable to you, you can try the reverse. Exhale down and inhale up. You have to find what works best for you. Really practice listening and tuning into your body. Everybody's different. Personally, I like to inhale down and exhale up. Let's rest for 20. We're going into our push-ups. So I'm in my third trimester. I feel comfortable at this point doing elevated or knees and hands elevated. So I'm gonna do one of those options, or maybe both. Here we go, 40 seconds. So you may just be down on the floor. This is just nice if you have a bump already, that your bump's not gonna be bumping the floor every time. So make sure hips are tucking under. Inhale down, exhale up. See, and this is the great thing about interval timed workouts. I want to continue to move, but this is starting to feel tiring. So I'm going to just drop my knees down and continue my push-ups. We have 10 more seconds here. You got this. Good, maintain core stability and breath control. Last rep. Woo, rest for 20. Really nice work. We're gonna go into our back elevated, alternating single leg hip bridges. Now, if the alternating single leg feels uncomfortable or just not doable, just keep both feet on the floor. That's fine, I'll show you that option. Here we go, alternating. Exhaling up. Good, I actually like to do a power exhale because it kind of just reminds me of where I'm breathing. And it helps me to engage my core a little more. So if this alternating is too much, just both feet flat. And if you're newer to exercise, this may be the best option. I actually feel like you can really feel this movement in the muscles that are supposed to be working with both feet down. 5 seconds. Good, go ahead and rest. We're going into our bent over Y's, T's, and L's. Just make sure we're on track. Okay, 10 seconds. So practice relaxing here. Practice recovering. Organize your breath. Remember this feeling. Good. Hips back, hinge, Y, T, L. From the front, it's Y, T, and L. Good. So with moves like this, where it's not obvious where to inhale and exhale, you just want to make sure that you're matching your breath to your movement. So you might inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Just so that you're always breathing rather than holding the breath. That's the important part. Keep lifting your chest tall. Matching breath to movement. 2, 1. Last rep here. Rest for 20. Good. We're going to go into those alternating step-ups. So again, remember, try to focus on using your top leg to do the work. The bottom leg is just straight, and you're switching feet at the bottom just because I think that allows for better pacing and rhythm. Here we go. So try to keep that back leg straight to avoid kicking off the floor. If you need to, a little kick is fine. And because you're working out from home, you may not have the perfect size item to use, so you kind of just have to work with what you have. For me, this feels like a pretty good height, but I might choose something slightly smaller if I were at the gym and had more options. Good, really focus on that glute. Standing you up. 5 more seconds. See if we can get one last rep in here. Yep, rest for 20. Okay, plank pull-throughs. So grab your dumbbell or your water bottle, whatever's accessible to you. If you're in your first trimester or earlier in your second, you might just still be doing a regular plank with wide feet. If not, you can have your knees down or tucked under you like tabletop. So I'm at the point now where tabletop feels best to me, but you may be able to do something that's a bit more challenging. Either way, no matter what modification you're doing, the breath is really the important part when it comes to core work. So this move is called anti-rotational core work. It means that you're avoiding rotating as you pull. So you don't want to do that. You want to stay really still. So I'm going to inhale, exhale, tighten, and make sure everything's neutral as I pull across. Last rep right here. Rest for 20. We're going back through that whole thing one last time. So this is what I love to say on round 3 or whatever your last round is. At this point, you're a little fatigued. So slow it down if you need to. Dial in the form. This isn't about speed. This is just about good quality reps and having fun. Here we go, 40 seconds of squats. Let's do it. And just as a reminder, keep this going. I'm just gonna show you how you do it again with the box, if you're using that option. So you're reaching your glutes back, fully sitting down, relaxing, and then engaging to stand up. Try to keep your knees over your ankles. So you don't want to shift your toes too far, your knees too far over your toes. You really just want to try to use your glutes to stand up. So that's an option. Keep going. The other option is just regular squats from the side. 3 more seconds. 2, and rest for 20 seconds. We're going to go into our push-ups. So you may be doing conventional plank style push-ups or just knees down, or you may be doing one of the modifications that I'm going to be using, and I'll probably do both again this time. So here we go. Hands elevated, hips under, so I'm not letting myself sag in the middle. I'm keeping a nice neutral spine. Glutes are squeezing, elbows are tucked in. So nice. Remember that your neck is part of your spine, so you don't want to let your head sag or up really high. You just want neutral chin. So I'm going to drop my knees down here because that was starting to feel, if you start to feel like you're losing form, that's a good indicator that you may need to reduce the intensity a bit. We have 5 more seconds here. Stay in it. Belly button leads you up. Good, rest for 20. We're going into our elevated hip bridges. And again, I'll show you both alternating single leg and just standard, both feet on the ground. Totally up to you what you want to do. So the bench is right underneath my shoulder blades. Inhale, exhale, here we go. This is 2 feet down. And if this feels really easy for you, and you feel like you need to increase the intensity or want to increase the intensity a bit, you can do that single leg alternating. So you're kind of just focusing in on one leg at a time. Makes it a bit more challenging. Both options are so nice. It's really important during pregnancy as everything's growing forward to be focusing on posterior chain strengthening. 3, 2, and 1. Good, rest. Going into our bent over Y's, T's, and L's. Whew, getting up from the floor when you're very pregnant. You guys know it's a treat. It's really fun. Deep breaths. Organize your breath control. Practice relaxing. And here we go. Working for 40. Y, T, and L. This again is posterior chain, so we're working the back and the shoulders. You should probably feel hamstrings and glutes here as well. So good, continuous breathing. If you need to slow these down, that's fine. If you have small weights and you want to use weights, that's fine, but the most important thing here is maintaining neutral spine and tall chest. So if you are going to use some weights, I recommend not heavier than 5s in each hand, and even that seems a bit heavy. Good, rest for 20 seconds. We're going into our alternating step-ups. We're almost through. We got this. This was so fun. 8 more seconds breathing. Practice your diaphragmatic breathing here. Big expanding. Here we go. Stepping up and down. Make sure that you're establishing balance and stability before you take the weight off of that back foot. And if you are close to a wall or some other object, you can of course always just support yourself with your fingertips on the wall if you feel really unsturdy. And if you still feel really unsturdy, you can just do high marching. That's perfectly fine. This is really just all about tuning into your body and listening about what's right for you. So 3 more seconds here. 2, and rest for 20. So nice. We're gonna finish it out with our plank pull through, so grab your weight. And again, I'm gonna be in a tabletop position, but you may be able to take your knees back further. You may be able to be in plank, whatever works for you, because the most important thing, here we go, 40 seconds here, is not letting your body rotate. It's focusing in on your core and your breath. Exhaling on that pull. Inhaling, exhaling. Neutral spine, which includes the neck. Lifting the pelvic floor on the exhale. Bringing the 2 sides of the abdomen together on the exhale. You can also be hovering your knees. That makes it a bit more challenging. So that's something to try if you want to. And because it's just 40 seconds, you can try a number of things. 3, 2, and time. Whew. We did it. We made it through 3 rounds of that workout. Let's get into just a quick stretch. Let's just do half kneeling. It's called a Samson stretch. So you're gonna tuck your hips underneath you. So watch how I tucked, pulled my belly button towards my chin, and I'm just shifting forward slightly to feel that back hip flexor stretch. You don't wanna be arching the back. You wanna keep things tucked and then shifting the weight. So we're just gonna breathe here for a few breaths. One more breath. And then let's extend that front leg. Flex the toes and fold over it. So you're just gonna hinge from the hip, maintain tall chest, tall back. You should be feeling a nice big hamstring calf stretch on that front leg. flexing those toes. Let's do 2 more deep breaths here. Good, okay, let's switch to the other side. So half kneeling, tuck those hips under, belly button towards your chin, and just a little shift until you feel that back hip flexor stretch. So again, this is called a Samson stretch. It's pretty moderate. It's not a deep, deep stretch, but it's just nice to get that back hip flexor. And if you have sensitive knees, you can of course throw a mat or a pillow underneath there. Couple deep breaths here. Good, big inhale. Expand the ribs, expand the belly, and then exhale, just let everything deflate. And then let's extend that front leg, flex the toes, hinge the hips, fold. Make sure hips are neutral, so both hip bones are still pointing forward. Toes are flexing, big hamstring calf stretch. Let's do a few deep breaths here, and as you breathe, on the exhales, if you can try to get a little bit lower, deeper into that stretch. Okay, awesome. Let's just do one more. This is my favorite, shoulder upper back stretch. So on hands and knees, you're gonna take hands wide. Drop your chest down, elbows are about 90. You're gonna internally rotate one shoulder as you look in the opposite direction, and then slide across. So both elbows are staying bent. We're gonna do 10 of these, that's 3, 4, so you're feeling a front of shoulder stretch, upper back twist. Good, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, thank you so much for working out with me. Seriously, that was awesome. I hope you enjoyed that workout. Go back to it. Do it on your own. That was so much fun. Thank you.